Hi, welcome to HackTheFile. I'm Michael Lopez, and in today's video, we're going to be doing Introduction to Python 3 Programming. Enjoy. So, this is the book that I wanted to do the video on originally. I bought this, I think, maybe 6 months ago, and so I can learn how to do Python programming. I just went through this book, and it is terrible. It is a terrible book. So let's um I need to make sure about something here. So who this book is for? I need to read this real quick before I go to my other resource. This book is for people who have some programming experience, but not necessarily with Python. That's me. Some knowledge of basic programming concepts will come in handy, although it's not a requirement. Even if you already have some experience with Python, this book can still be useful to you, both as a reference to Python's fundamentals and for providing a wide range of considerations and suggestions collected over four combined decades of experience. This book is very technical. Everything in it is done from the console line or from your command line or your terminal, whatever you want to call it, whatever operating system you're using. I call it the command line, right? Because I guess Windows is where I started. Everything is done from the console, okay? And because I was doing it from Linux. Um, why in God's name would you try to teach, reference your fundamentals and all that from the command console in Python? I mean, I mean it's. I mean, I don't have enough experience with it, but it is so confusing. It's not even funny. Um, this is definitely not for people that are trying to learn Python or even programming for the first time. So I agree with people who have some programming experience. I understand it, but they have one line in here that says, um, although you can use IDEs, we're not going to use it in this book. And then that was it. Didn't explain how great IDEs are, didn't explain what they were, nothing. And so we are just going to improvise this. So now I'm going to show you a greater source than this book. Okay, this is just I didn't waste my money on this. When I want to reference something that it's not in my other reference, then I'll come in here and search and probably find the answer for it, right? And I have the experience to separate the the console, you know, programming from IDEs and all that stuff. So I'm just disappointed. But not all these books are going to be well written, right? This is, I swear, is not for beginners, and it's not for people with a little bit. This is for like people that geeks, that love to do everything in command line, which is not bad. I mean, I'm not trashing. I'm just saying. I thought it was a, I thought it was a, introduction. So it says right here, introduction. So I mean, it's just whoa. All right, so let's move on. That was 3 minutes rant of that. There's so many better resources to learn how to program for the first time. Now, I'm assuming that you don't know how to program and you want to learn. This is a way better source. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. Now, this one costs a little bit more money. That book was like $20, $30, or whatever, on Amazon digital. This is a way better source. So I'm gonna open up this. I'm gonna show you first what I have. So this is workforce training and continuing education. You gotta go. I mean, it's hard to find, but It's just www.edtogo.com is what you should type in, okay? And that should, you should be able to find the resources, right? And I've done all this stuff, and they haven't done them all, but some of these say certificate. I can print them off. That means that I passed them, right? And I've done like introduction to JavaScript, introduction to C, SS3 HTML, low fat lightning mills I did on here. I mean, which is something I just did because I was bored of technical crap. Wireless networking, intermediate networking, introduction networking, which they were all right classes. Keyboarding, because I suck at typing. And here's my introduction and intermediate and on C, C++, C sharp. Did I, and what it is when you buy these, you can download them and you can reference them forever. But they're actual classes and they have start dates and end dates. And they're only like $120, which is well worth it, okay? So this is the one, Introduction to Python Programming. So I'm going to click in here. And this is where I'm at right now, right? Because I took some classes in applied programming with Python. And so I did this before I took the class, but then I didn't have enough time, so I stopped halfway through, like right here. So, but we're going to start from the start. So we're going to go home to 31% complete, and I stopped. But I own it for a while, so um, I think I actually purchased this twice. So I had it before, and that's when I did it. See, and then I purchased it again because I wanted to finish it and actually try to get the certificate. So, but this is like where I stopped, so it opened up the same thing for me. I just paid for it again, like a moron. But anyway, so we're gonna start here. So they all start you off with a pretest, right? And I did 25% on my pretest because I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. How to in Python. I've never did Python, so I got a couple of them correct that are universal. Like you know what happens when you attempt to sort a list containing both strings and numbers. A syntax error will occur. That's just common sense, but that I didn't know that pertained to Python. So, anyways, here's a pretest. Lesson one. Now, this is what we're gonna do, and we're actually gonna do it not with my PyCharm IDE. We're gonna do it with what it says to do it with, which is the IDLEs. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome to Introduction to Python 3 Programming. Okay, let me look in here and see how 7 minutes. Okay, we'll be working together over the next few weeks as you will learn the art of charming a Python. This class, of course, has nothing to do with charming a snake. It looks like a bit like two snakes, though, doesn't it? Python is software, although many believe Python got its name from the snake known for its constricting its prey. The origin of its name is much less ominous. The name actually comes from the British comedy group Monty Python. The official Python website describes the software as dynamic oriented programming, object oriented programming language that can be used for many kinds of software development. One thing that is fantastic about Python is that Python is its power when working with data. Python's creators really made it quick and easy to do fairly complex things. You can use it to write simple short scripts that consist of a few lines of instructions to perform some actions, but you can also use it to write a larger, more complex program that resemble those with written languages such as C or Java. If you don't know what C or Java is, Google it. Python code can also be run on a wide variety of operating systems like Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, which is Mac, and even certain Android, iOS mobile devices. The possibilities of places to run your code seem nearly endless. All of this makes Python a powerful programming tool. There's so much to learn about Python in this course that we can't cover everything, but let's cover a lot. Okay, next about the course. So this is simple already. Like the language is simple already, and it's just I just love these classes. They're awesome. This course is designed for those who want an introduction to the basics of Python and what it has to offer. You'll learn about basic decisions and repetition instructions and functions. You also explore some of the object orientation parts of Python, as well as files, exceptions, lists, tuples, and dictionaries. And it may seem like a lot, but you can do this. It's not about the logic. This course won't focus heavily on the logic of programming because you've probably had some exposure to that before this point. The basic logic is simple. Logic is similar to most languages. Instead, this course focuses on the unique features Python has and learn its syntax. The goal of this is to teach you the fundamentals of Python, the building blocks. This means two things. First, the programs you'll create in the lessons and assignments may not be exactly what you'll find in the real world, but are designed to let you practice what you learn in each lesson. Second, you'll more likely learn this material if you have your own ideas on how to apply the concepts. Hopefully, this lesson will give you ideas for interesting programs you might want to write with Python. But not everyone has the same idea about it, what is interesting. So, as you read through the text, try to think of programs that you might like to write to use your new Python skills. The more you practice, the easier this will be, and the better at charming Python you'll become. Are you ready to get started? The first lesson begins with a brief overview of the programming languages, giving you an idea of where Python fits in. Next, you'll learn about IDLE, the development environment that comes along with the Python download. You'll check out some of its important features and see where you'll write your code and where you'll run it. Finally, we'll finish up this lesson by writing a small Python program. What is Python? The software creator Guido van Rossum, I think, developed Python as a higher level language that enables programmers to use commands like human language. Of course, since the computer can't understand the language that we use, other programs exist that reduce a high language to something computers can understand. There are two types of programs that do this translation: compilers and interpreters. An interpreter translates the high level code one line at a time as the program runs. The computer must have access to the interpreter each time it runs. A compiler translates the entire program into an executable file that can be saved and distributed to end users without any further interaction needed with the compiler. Many common programming languages today use a compiler, including Java, C++, and C Sharp, and Visual Basic, which is decrepit code, but it's in a bunch of old um, facilities and stuff. So I'm gonna break this simply for you. C++, C Sharp, C, Java, like I said, are compiler languages, right? When you're done writing your code, you have to compile it into something um, uh, that your machine language or whatever that your computer can read. When it's compiled, it's then it's translated and it can read it. Like it says, an interpreter runs it line by line, right? It doesn't compile it first. So um, that's one of the main differences between Python, since it's Python is an interpreter language, and like C sharp, and since they're still both object orientated basically, but they're ran differently. Okay. other other like JavaScript use an interpreter for the most part. Python is an interpreted language. Unfortunately, this description can get a little muddy when it comes to Python and can lead to a long discussion that we won't get into in this course. Instead, we'll just keep in mind that Python code can be run one line at a time through an interpreter. See, I love how these people write. They're real with it with themselves. They don't claim to know everything. They don't claim to, you know, say things in like definition, definitely. They're telling the truth here. That people have discussions, and these courses are written by experts in the field, but they're just written way better than I'd say some of these books. That's why you're gonna pay a little. You're gonna pay triple the price of a book for this, right? Because it's laid out in instructions for you. Okay. What makes Python special? To answer the question, we need to head back to the origins of Python. Remember, Mr. Van Rossum, he wanted a simple, easy to use programming language and that was a priority when creating Python. For example, Python uses English-like syntax, and it doesn't use curly braces to block out its code. Now, I hate that though. I hate that Python doesn't use its curly braces. Um, I like those curly braces, right? Some people don't, but I love them. I haven't used Python long enough though. Maybe I won't like them later, so who knows. Instead, favoring simple white space indenting. And that white space indenting is the reason why I have a lot of problems. But then I also had problems with these curly brackets too when I first started programming in that. So I mean, you're gonna have problems no matter what. Let's not get ahead of ourselves with details though. Just remember that Python was intended to be easy to read and write, and that's true. However, in addition to being simple, Python also gives programmers the ability to implement more complex concepts such as object oriented programming, which, if you're learning how to program, you're going to understand what that is as we go through the course, and accepting handling. If you don't often find powerful features and simplicity in the same language. Okay, Python also has some nice built-in types to use in your code. But again, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. You need a solid foundation and the basics before diving into more advanced concepts. Installing IDLE. Where there are few different versions of Python, the one we will use in this class comes from the Python Software Foundation, www.python.org. This is sometimes called CPython because the interpreter is written in the C programming language. However, lately folks have taken the C to stand for classic instead of going into long discussion about that. Let's say that we're using the version of Python from PSF and go about the business of learning how to program with it. Okay, what's PSF? Python Software Foundation. That's what that is. Huh. One nice feature in Python download from PSF is that it comes from the integrated development environment. The IDE is a program that enables you to both write and run your Python code with a single application. In Python, this environment is called IDLE. Some claim the term IDLE actually comes from Eric Idle, one of the members of the comedy group Monty Python. No matter where the name comes from, the upshot is that you'll be using IDLE in this course to develop IDL to develop. IDLE works pretty darn well, especially for learning purposes. It's clean, simple, and fairly easy to work with, just like Python. Plus, it comes with the language download. Keep the focus on Python. If you have another IDE that you think is better than IDLE, which I use PyCharm or I use Visual Studio Code, please feel free to use it. However, please refrain from discussing other IDEs in the discussion area of this course. Like I said, this is a full course, so our discussion don't get clogged up with the back and forth debates about the bells and whistles of various development environments. This takes the focus off of Python, which what you're here to do is learn. Man, I wonder where I'm at on this discussion. Sure, because since this is from 322, No, wait. When did I purchase this? Mhm. Huh. Maybe. I hope the class is not over already. Anyways, they're probably still doing discussion on it, but I don't do it. I just learn, and then I don't need to do the discussions or anything, and I just pass it and print off my certificate. Let's get started. If you haven't already downloaded it, visit Python site. Let's go to the Python site, and that's https python.org. Okay, go in here and let's see what it says. Click the download items. Download the latest version of our operating system. Once you have your file downloaded, run it to complete the installation. You should be able to find your newly installed Python item on Windows menu, and that's the IDLE. So python.org, downloads, Python 3.1. So yeah, and it tells you you got to have a Windows 10, Windows 8 and higher. So you click on that. I've already done it. You know how to download stuff. That's easy. Okay. Remember, it's python.org. Download that. You notice the addition to having links for documentation to uninstall Python. The Windows version seems to have two different Pythons, IDLE, which we have discussed, and the command line version. In this course, you'll be working exclusively with the IDLE. So see how this says command line version? This is what that other book is doing, just in command line, which is god awful. Okay? But feel free to experiment with the command line version on your own. So when I took this C++, C sharp, C intermediate, C sharp, and all that, they didn't say but feel free to experiment with the command line on your own time. They had me do that first for the first couple chapters, and I was like, geez, what the hell am I learning? Is this? And that was the first time I ever even looked at code, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And then it had me download an IDE, and I was like, oh, this is so much better and easier to learn. So I'm glad they did this, right? They didn't start us off with the command line, because this IDLE is kind of way better to learn, right? So you guys are lucky to do that. All right, getting started with the IDLE. Open the IDLE and you will see a window with three greater than signs. This is the interpreter prompt that reads the code. Folks often refer to this as the shell window in Windows, or the IDLE prompt window. You can use this window to type in your Python statement at the prompt, and we have them immediately evaluated. But IDLE is so much more. For one thing, you'll notice a list of items at the top of the window. This course doesn't use most of these items, but one of them is very important, and you'll use it a lot. Select file. Okay, so now we're gonna open this. So I got mine open already. Here's mine. And what happens is, you know how to download and extract. When you download it off the internet, it's going to go in your downloads here. And then you're going to go to your downloads. You should already know. And you're going to go to your downloads if it's Windows. And you're going to, these are all different downloads. And then you're going to extract it. And then you're going to click on the execution file to open it, or something. Once it's downloaded, actually, I think in Windows, all you have to do is go to your Windows and then type in IDLE, and it'll pop up in your little Windows thing, and then and it'll open. So this is what we're looking at. Is what it's having us look at. Okay, it's a great tool, IDLE, to learn how to program. So select the file, new file, which I already did. So let's actually do that. So, oh crap, I got out of it. I actually was trying to put that ideally. I was trying to put this on my taskbar. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Then you can right click it and put it on your taskbar. So this is what we're looking at. See, it's the same thing as that back first one. This is the new window. So this is what we have. I have a newer version. So it said go to File, New File, and now we have the untitled what they have. Okay, so that's what you did. You'll see a very uninspiring new window shown below. This one that looks nearly identical to the first one, with one major exception. There's no prompt. It is just a notepad. This is what I like about it. A place to type in plain text, like the notepad apps in Windows. Python, though, the plain text you type has a special syntax called Python syntax. This is a great learning source. To get some practice with this, type in the classic Hello World program. Click in the blank window and type in the following. Now, this here, if you have never programmed and you're actually following my videos and you've never done it and you've gotten this far in the video or you plan on to, this is a cool little moment here. Okay, that's why it's called Hello World. They do this in every language you learn. The first little program you're ever gonna code is Hello World. And what that means is you're making your little robot or computer say Hello World. It came alive and you're making it say Hello World, right? So we're gonna this is they use the print function on this one. And in C sharp it's console out dot outline or something like that. Console out, hello world, print, I don't know. But I mean it's kind of complicated. But in Python it's just print, okay, and parentheses hello world. And that's it. Now watch. Oh, I've got to save this too. So you've got to save it. And I'm going to save it as test pi because I've done this 1,000 times. Place it. Okay. Actually, we're gonna leave that there. And we're gonna follow instructions. So hello world. Click the blank window to type in the following. So we've done that. Okay. I forgot the exclamation mark. It doesn't matter. That's hello world. Did you notice anything special? The letters in your words colors changed. The word print should have turned purple, and the text hello world should have turned green. This is one of the nice features of the IDLE's editor. It gives you a visual cue to help your program. You may also see blue, which is designated output, and red, which designates an error. The reason you print the reason print turned purple is because it's a keyword and reserved word. So that print turned purple because that's a reserved word. In Python, it's basically a command. That means it has a special meaning and you won't be able to use it as a variable name. So I can't put a variable, well, you don't even know what variables are yet, but or if you do, you can't do print. Otherwise, Python will get confused and won't be able to run the code. The hello world text turned green and designated that it's a literal string. In general, a string is just a collection of letters. So that's a string of letters. Okay. This is a literal string because it literally displays the phrase hello world. Literal string. On the screen, having the letters colored green makes it a lot easier to tell what is the string. This feature will come in handy for you when you write your programs. Now that you have your very first Python program written, let's run it and see what it does. You might think at this point that all you have to do is click run, run module. The program the problem is that Python requires that you save your program before running it. That's why I saved it. Go ahead and check that for yourself. Try to run the file. You'll get a dialog box that says this. We did this. Remember, it said save it, and I saved it. Okay, I'm gonna have to make another video on this. I'm gonna make this video just enough to give you a nice taste, and then we'll go through this whole thing and make this a series, right? And then this is not even gonna be a. All right, so I had to do another video. So okay, so click OK, and then you will save the file. Python gives you another dialog box that enables you to choose the file name where it is to be saved. It is a good idea to create a new folder someplace where you'll easily find it, perhaps on the desktop or your documents folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, see this documents, this PC documents, if you're on Windows, this is where you want to put it, okay? And you want to create a folder. And so let's go ahead and, I already have created a folder, and it's right here, Python, right? And I've got Hello World and Shoe Size because I made it a couple programs. But I'm going to copy that, right? Because I'm going to set that. I don't think that's saving there no more. But that's what you want to do. Make a little folder in your documents. I would recommend, not on your desktop. You can do it on your desktop. I don't care. I always do stuff in documents and then save the stuff there. As soon as you save the file, the IDE runs the code for you. Notice how notice now how control switches back over to the original window that you saw when you first opened your IDE. Okay, so now let's run it because I don't think it ran, did it? All right, let's. So I'm gonna run it, and there you go. Hello world, and it goes to the original window. So there you go. I made that, and if you did it, you just made your first little program. You're now a little programmer. Hello world. Um, and we can run it again and again. See, and it just keeps printing over here. So this is basically where you can write your code. It's going to give you color, coordination, all that stuff, and then it comes out here. That's so much better than entering it in the command line. Okay, because you would have had to open up a pad of your own, copy and paste in there, and then ran it. So this, you put it in here, and it runs it over here. It's really, really convenient. Going back and forth between the windows where your program source code is located and the window where your program runs may seem strange at first, but you'll get used to it, and it's just great. So here's a review. I followed your instructions in the text and saved my hello world program file with the name hello.py. However, when I double clicked the file on my computer desktop, a black window appeared for a fraction of a second and then disappeared. How come it doesn't stay up long enough to read it? The reason why the black window appears and disappears so quickly is because when the program is run this way, the computer will open a new command line window, put the output text in there, and then close the window immediately. It's perfectly acceptable to do that when you're actually using a completed program. But as you are building your programs, you will need to see what happens on the on screen afterwards, such as any error messages that might appear. So instead, you should use an IDLE to and use file greater than open to locate the py file to run it from here there. So what it's saying is they ran it from the command line and it just opened and closed real quick. That's because it's a quick little program. It's going to finish. It's going to run and then finish. You're just saying hello world. It's not going to stay up and say hello world unless you do something more in the code, like prompt stall or something like that, and it'll open and then close later or whatever, or it'll open and stay open until you click a key or something. So you have to make your code, but right now you're just saying hello world, so it's going to open up hello world and close, right? But in this IDLE, it's going to just stay there because you're developing code on this one. You're not just running it. So this is actually a troubleshooting device too, right? So it's started, it showed you, and then it closed, right? So when we run this, boom, done, and then goes to the next line. So you're it's not gonna It did the same thing. It opened up and closed and ran your quick program, but it stays on there to show you what you got instead of closing, right? Which is fine. So now we'll go to the next one. So review. So we'll probably just do this quick little review because I don't want to make this a quick 30-minute video, and then we'll go through like chapter 2 next. And then there's only 12 chapters, so this is going to be like 12 videos. In this lesson, you gained some insight into the world of Python. You downloaded and installed the latest version of Python, getting your computer ready for the programming work you will do throughout this course. You entered some code and had a chance to work with the IDLE bit you are executing. So I think that when we downloaded that IDLE, we downloaded Python with it. So that killed two birds with one stone. In the next lesson, you'll continue to work with Python by learning about variables and how to code mathematical operations. Variables are extremely important because they are many times there are many times when you'll want to keep track of some data while your program runs. You'll need variables if you plan to get input from the users because the input data needs to be stored somewhere for later use. Math operations are useful to know how to code or math operations are useful to know how to code because they're they are sure to be times when you need to do a little bit of math in your programming. Yeah, that's true. Join the discussion. Don't forget to post any questions that you have in the discussion area. Okay, I already did all that. To finish this lesson, you'll need to complete the steps outlined below. Simply click Next up at the bottom of the page to access the next activity, or you wish to skip around and look at the book, whatever. Do the assignment. Get some hands-on experience. Drop the discussion. Drop by the discussion. Okay, so we're gonna do the assignment, and then we're gonna do a learning check. So let's take the quiz. Let's start the quiz. In IDLE, how do you open a new file in which to type your code? So it was new and then file. Oh, is that incorrect? Oh, how do you open a new file? Okay, shoot. It was file, new file. There you go. Stupid. File, new file. Well, I got that one wrong. In IDLE, what color do keywords appear in? Keywords. What was that? It's purple. What file extension is used for Python files? docx, py, text, or com? It's py. Okay, let's reset that and do the first one. Py. Oh, and here's the answer key. Click on answer key. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back to the first one. And that was uh, file, open, new file. But did that the same one twice. File, new file. So you go to file, new file. Never mind. We're gonna do all that. Okay, so that's the little quiz that they give. And then lesson one assignment. Let's do the assignment. This will be fun. Write a short Python program that prints multiple lines of text using two or more print statements. You might consider printing your name and the names of 5 of your favorite movies. All right, let's do that. And here's a hint. Are we required to submit our assignments to you for grading? If so, how? I said, no, there's no requirement. We don't have to do this, but we should, right? So we're going to do it. Like I said, you don't get credits for this. This is just. All right, so now let's print. Print. This. Five of my uh, favorite movies. Oh man, that's a hard one. I don't want to do that. Let's do favorite songs. I'm just gonna favorite songs. Favorite. Get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. I'm just gonna type random crap in here. Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with. Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with. Uh oh. Tang. Why did I do that again? What am I doing? Jeez, man, I can't type for crap. Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with. Wu Tang. I'm just gonna put Wu Tang. Alright, that's good enough. That's all that assignment was. Right? So we gotta say, look, it printed out. Hello World, Michael Lopez, Cream, Wu Tang. So that was your little assignment. I can't imagine what assignment you'd be able to do when you're first learning that. So that's cool. They even gave you one. Lesson one quiz, and I got 80% on this, so I'm not going to redo this quiz. But so, what is the name of the program that translates high-level instructions all at once before the code is run? And that is your compiler. Wait a minute. Are you sure? Yeah, because it says all at once instead of line by line. Interpreter does line by line. Which of the following is the which of the following is the Python command prompt? And it's not that P that, it's the 3 one. But I put that one. I don't know why. It's obviously this one, remember? The three greater thans. In Python, a set of characters that are enclosed in double quotes are known as what? A literal string. What would happen if you type the following Python statement in the Python to command prompt? Print hello. You would see the word hello on the screen. That's correct. Which of the following statement regarding IDLE is correct? IDLE is a free development environment for Python. It's a little lesson you take just to quiz yourself. So it has hands-on and lessons. And this is a python.org/downloads. This page from Python Software Foundation has a variety of downloadable links depending on your computer and the OS. So this is where you can go to download Python. Python.org/downloads. Let me go do that again. And see Python.org/downloads. Put that in your URL. This is download the latest version, and this gives you the IDLE, I think, too. Yeah. Tells you what bug fixes they did. It's awesome. General Python programming frequently asked questions. Click on here. These are frequently asked questions. What is Python? Python software? How do I obtain a copy of Python source? This is awesome right here. And it's at docs.python.org. Pause the video and you can zoom in on that and get that. There you go. Now I'm going to go to the discussion area, which these guys will say things and you can ask questions, but no. Okay, so that's it. This is chapter 2, and we'll do this in another video. But that was a quick little taste of my sources on how to learn uh, programming. Now, if you guys want to know the link to this other than like www.edToGo, I would go here. Oh, crap. So I think this is where it is, and you can search courses. So if I type in Python, introduction to Python, you don't want to do 2.5. That's old. It's deprecated. This is the one, $121. Introduction to Python 3. Then you got Python Analytics with Juniper Lab, Django Training with Python. Advanced Python is the one that I'm going to do next. It's $119. And you get 28 hours of credit, or, whatever. You don't get credit, but it's 24 course hours. And you're going to get a certificate of completion with this if you pass this test, right? And we'll go through and I'll pass it with you guys because um, to get caught up, I got to go here. I'll probably make a video, 2 videos a week of this since it's so fun and easy to learn. It's not even funny. But I would look at this. This would be the URL address is https www.edtogo.com/CEI, and then that should take you to this. And this is just stands for College of Eastern Idaho. This edToGo is its own entity, so we can go here, and it's its own entity. So you don't even have to go to CI. You can go here and type in Python, and there you go. And you're gonna go through just them, and you could do that. Just edToGo. I would just go to edToGo. An introduction to Python 3. See? And you can order it, but it looks like it's expensive. $149. Enroll now, right? It's cheaper through CEI. So you go here. It's only 125 because you're going through the College of Eastern Idaho and they provide it cheaper. Uh, it's way greater. So there you go. We're gonna go through this though. That way you don't have to pay for it, and then you can do it with me and for free. But I recommend checking out other courses in this thing because it is freaking awesome. I'm probably gonna do Python and then advanced Python with you guys, but that's for later. But because I'm sick of learning how to code and all that stuff, which I'm not sick of it, but it's just I did it for so many years. But I mean, it's still awesome. So, all right, that was Hack the File, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'll see you on the next video.